welcome back. So we are going to start off with a 30-ounce twisted top. It's something twisted, but it's the top, basically it's twisted in instead of just like you just pop it on there. And so I kind of like these in the way that they look on the top. When you put them on, it kind of looks like a crown on there, and so you'll understand why here in a minute. But that's why I wanted to use this particular one. I basically just painted this white spray paint, no fuss, just white spray paint. And then I put a little bit too much epoxy, because now I can see that there was like little bumps in there, but totally didn't even see it once we put all the glitter and all of the water slides and everything. It was fine. But don't put that much epoxy. Do what I say and not what I do, okay? So then I am just dousing this with Miami from NMO. She had a big sale like a month ago, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to try some of these that I haven't ever tried before. And this one is really, really cool because it has kind of a matte finish to it in there, but then it has all of these like shards of glitter and different things that are like kind of, and it gives it such a beautiful glow, like a beautiful sparkle, that I was very, very impressed, and I was very happy with the outcome and what this looked like on the cup. So like I said, I mean, I just put a tray underneath with some parchment paper, and I just doused it as much as I could, and then I put the bottom right there in the mix there, and that was it. I just kind of shook off as much as I could and put it back on the turner, and I just let it spin for maybe an hour, 2 hours, probably about 2 or 3 hours. I don't think you necessarily have to let it spin that long, but I kind of was like, I just put it on to spin and then went and did some other things and then came back and took it off. But I also removed that tape there at the top, because I didn't want any of that to get stuck epoxy wise or anything and mess up any of my glitter. So I put 2 coats of epoxy on this, and then I sanded the heck out of it, used my file to file down all the little shards that were kind of sticking up, and I dremeled the top rim and all of that, and then I put a full coat of epoxy on top of that so that it was nice and smooth and pretty, no bumps, no lumps, no none of that, okay? And so this, because these are clear water slides, we don't want anything in the way, okay? We don't want any scratching, any filing, anything at all. So you want a nice smooth surface on this, especially since this is such a huge water slide that we're putting on here at the bottom, that I wouldn't want you to, think you could just like put some spray on there or something, because you really need a good coat. If it was just one little thing like this cross or something, and you just put a little bit of spray or something like that, that's fine. But with such a big water slide presence on this cup, you definitely want to make sure that you have a good clean coat of epoxy. I don't know if I said that too many times, but that's what I said. Anyways, clean, smooth coat of epoxy before you're the water slides. Okay. Anyways, so after that, we are going to cut all of these water slides. So you are not supposed to be able to see the water slide, edges or whatever once you put it under epoxy. But there has been times when I have seen just like little bits or little, a little notch here and there, a little corner here and there. And it's not like it's completely evident, but it's something that I see. And so I always just try to remove as much of the as much of the excess as I need to, in order to ensure that my look is spot on underneath the epoxy. And I just keep this little thing of water. It's like a to-go thing that I keep in my craft room, and I just stick this in there, and I just, probably for maybe 30 seconds or so, maybe a minute, since it was a little bit bigger. And then I just took the squeegee thing there, and I just wet down my cup so that when it goes on there, it had a wet surface to go onto. The water slide really likes you know, a lot of water. And so in the very beginning, and then you want to slowly kind of squeegee that water out. And so, I mean, this is basically, you know, whatever works for you. I don't do this very often, so I'm not going to say like I'm some kind of expert or anything, but it was a little bit more difficult because I was going around that bottom side and it was curved going up to that top part there. So it did take a lot of maneuvering and kind of pulling and situating, and you don't want to do that too many times because you will get you know, cracking or ripping or anything like that. So just take your time and be very, you know, cautious, and just take your time. I mean, that's what I always tell you. I always tell you, take your time. The more time you take now, the less time you have to go back and fix all of these things that you messed up because you were just trying to rush through something. So just take your time now and go through it. And yeah, it took me a while because of the curve and all of that, but it really, honestly, because there was so much going on and so many flowers and so many twists and turns, I did have a little issue with something was folded underneath, but I got it put back together, and then I just went around, and I mean, that's what I did. I just kind of sped this up a little bit just so you could kind of see that I just kept going around with some water and just kind of, I was definitely not going that fast, so do not do it that fast. I was just, you know, trying to get it as straight as possible. You know, all these things, they look great in your mind and they look great on paper and they look great in Cricut Design Space or wherever you're designing it. And then you get them on there and you're like, okay, this is a little different, but it's okay. We're going to work with it. We're going to do this. So, but these colors, the colors of these flowers were absolutely gorgeous. So I am in a group of girls and we did a little swap, and our theme was spring, Easter kind of theme. And so I designed this whole flower montage here. I had designed it in Google Docs because I needed something bigger because of the width around the cup. And so I just went into Google Docs and just kind of arranged and pulled forward and moved back. It really, honestly, it was probably way too much work for me to even put in one video. I could probably do something on the side if y'all would want to know how to do that, but I will link the flowers below, and all you'd have to do is just pull them in, and you just have to convert the size, resize them, put them, you know, front, back, whatever, stack them on top of one another. It was very intricate, and so this also makes it very original. So nobody's ever going to do the same exact piece that I made because I did it all myself. And so when you take these images like from Creative Fabrica and like the cross and the flowers and you do all of that, it becomes a one-of-a-kind piece. And I just encourage you to kind of work that way, because then it just makes it a lot more personal whenever you go to sell your cups. So I put a coat of epoxy on top of the Waterslide once it was dried, and then I went in, and I did not record this, and I'm not sure exactly why, but I will add this SVG that you're about to see here in a minute. I will add this to my Facebook group. You can join below. But I made this, I designed it myself. He is resin because I wanted the cross on one side and he is resin on the other. And it is just in this beautiful rose gold metallic vinyl. It's very thick. I'll have to find it and link it below. But then just the flowers and everything is just so springy. I love that the cross matches the flowers. So everything there just kind of flows together. And you see how the lid looks kind of like a crown. It's just so, anyways, I love everything about it. The girl I sent it to loved it too. And just Easter time coming up, just remember there is a reason for the season kind of thing. And anyways, please join my group below. All of the links for everything is going to be down below. If you remake this, tag me, and I'll see you next time.